first bout of the evening is an amateur bout scheduled for 2 3-minute rounds in the heavyweight division. This bout is not sanctioned by the Florida State Boxing Commission. Your referee is Bill Clace. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the black with yellow and red. Weighing 205 pounds, his fighting style is Muay Thai. Representing Warrior Martial Arts from Jacksonville, Florida, here is Kurt Curley. His opponent fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the black trunks, weighing 208 pounds. His style is kickboxing. He represents the Diamond Dutch Gym from Amsterdam. Please welcome John Doe.
Yellow. And Rob, these guys are wearing the pads not only for their protection, but also because they haven't advanced, obviously, to pro status.
Exactly. In the amateur rounds, you wear the shin and foot pads. Of course, you wear the gloves and the mouthpiece in both the amateur and the pro. But in the amateur, you definitely wear the shin and the foot pads, as well as the fights only go 3 rounds, 3 3-minute rounds instead of 4 3-minute rounds. As you see, even though they're amateurs, they're still throwing some pretty good blows, especially some of those leg kicks.
Well, John Doe is out to make a name for himself, Bill, but surprised no headgear for an amateur event when they're wearing the protection on the shins.
Usually they choose to wear headgear, but these two have decided not to.
Looks to be a pretty evenly matched bout. What, 205 pounds versus 208 pounds.
Both
no
guys
weight
are
advantage.
34 years of age. Kurt out of Jacksonville, and John Doe, Ruben Pepperkamp, originally from Amsterdam. Master Mehrdad reaching beyond North America to find his fighters.
Kurt's having a real problem seeing these punches come in. He's got his glove up next to his temple. Looks like it's blocking him. He's taking some pretty decent shots to the head. He needs to open up. He needs to get some head movement. His head is still. It's an easy target.
Now, but one thing that fans may not be used to seeing, you're allowed to grab hold of your opponent, but only for about 5 seconds as you try to maybe get a knee kick inside.
That's correct. You can grab your opponent and hold him, but you have to follow up with the technique. If you don't follow up with the technique, the referee's going to step in and break you apart. You're also allowed to grab the back of the head.
And you're not allowed to hit below the belt.
That's not a legal knee shot there.
Yeah.
And John Doe took that one in a spot that would have anybody buckling at the knees. And so our referee, Bill Clace, will stop the clock momentarily and give the warning over to Kurt Curley.
As with professional bouts, they are allowed to use the knees pretty much anywhere in the body.
End of round 1. John Doe, Ruben Pepperkamp. I wouldn't say this is the shot of the first round, but it definitely sent waves through Ruben Pepperkamp. Maybe that's why he wants to be known as John Doe. We noticed something else at the end of this match if that continues to hurt. Our host models tonight so far drawing the biggest applause instead of our 2 amateur fighters. Full line of events coming up tonight, Rob.
There's some great fights later on tonight. It's an extremely talented fighter. Stefan Butenbik, who is going to be he's a tremendous fighter, tremendously skilled fighter. He's going to throw about 15 to 20 different techniques. And of course, the final, you're going to see Pedro the Pitbull versus Lane Lightning Collier. And a lot of skill, power.
Seconds out. Coming up, round number 2.
I'd like to see Kurt use a little more head movement in this amateur bout. You notice his head is still, it's a stationary target. It's easy to hit a stationary target, and John Doe has some pretty good jab, as you see right there, to open the round.
The flurry being thrown by John Doe. Also took a jab in there.
Great left jab by John Doe, I guess we'll call him. Kurt just comes in straight.
Trying to work on that midsection with his knees is Kurt Curley. But if they grapple too long, they have to be broken up. Corner man for John Doe. Tell him to watch those knees. It seems to be doing the most damage.
Notice how he blocks those shin kicks by bringing his knee up. Very effective way. Get too many of those shin kicks to your thigh, and you're not going to be walking too long in one of these fights.
I think John Doe took another knee below the belt.
It's going to be a one-point deduction. It's going to be a warning. One more time, they should cancel the fight. At one point, he actually threw an outside knee to the outside of the thigh, which you can catch the hip flexor and actually buckle a fighter with that. I don't know why he's going right up the middle. He should use that outside knee technique a little more often.
And Bill, sometimes this is what you see from the amateurs. You'll see a block or a hit below the belt. It's not that Kurt Curley is trying to attack that area. He's the aggressor. He's just not seasoned enough.
Exactly. It's not intentional in any way, but they're trying to get their knees in there and doing as much damage as they can, and it just happens.
It's a good break for John Doe to listen to the birds and the bees in his head right now and get a little stretch in. Good break in this second round.
Also helps him get his wind back.
Unfortunately, both fighters get to take advantage of that.
Gives Kurt Curley a chance to strategize a little better. In only 3 rounds, neither fighter really hurt besides the obvious to John Doe. And we'll continue. He's trying to keep them apart from each other. It seems when they get tangled is when Curley likes to hit him with that knee below the belt.
Nice knee to the ribs. Good shot by John Doe. And that's what you want to do, is bring that knee up on the outside. You don't bring it right up through the middle, unless you're going to pull the neck down and go to the head.
We're going to see a lot of that later on tonight.
Curley trying to attack with left jab and that overhand right. Misses with the uppercut. Being the aggressor, pushing Doe into that corner.
Doe has a tendency to hold him once they get together.
Almost walked right into one from Doe. Got that right knee a little higher, but didn't do any damage.
Doe seems to be getting a little tired.
Doe fending off Kurt Curley's aggressiveness.
Nice finish by Doe. Threw a nice left hook, and then a straight right, a straight left, and then threw 2 knees right there at the end.
Those knees can do a lot of damage, especially to the body.
Now, one thing about the Kumite, you are allowed to use the elbows to block the knee, but you aren't allowed to use the elbows to strike.
That's about the only part of the body that you're not allowed to use to strike. And sometimes it happens on a follow-through to a punch, and they're not going to hold that against you, but they don't want you doing it intentionally.
Big uppercut misses there, and the aggressiveness by Kurt Curley, as toward the end of the second round, both fighters were able to land punches that counted for points as we get close to the final round in our first amateur bout.
Got one more round. Both fighters look a little fatigued. They've been hanging on each other so much. That takes a little bit out of you, too. You got somebody 210 pounds leaning down on your shoulders. That takes some of your wind out of you.
Pretty basic for this fight, Bill. No spinning back fists, no spinning with the kicks.
Yeah, I think
no
when you're an
axe
amateur,
kicks.
I think that's probably the smartest way to go when you're an amateur and you don't know what to expect, especially from the other guy. You don't want to get caught off balance and off guard.
Some real effective knees in that exchange by both fighters.
Curley in the black and yellow trunks, in the pony shirt and the blue corner, and now working on some of his equipment is John Doe, Ruben Peppercamp. And he's had several problems that have had the round stop.
Nice left by John Doe. These amateurs are going to learn a lot from this. They're going to learn, first of all, Kurt Curley's going to learn to move his head.
And not take that nice right jab. And now Doe throwing some good knees to the midsection of Curley. Curley just trying to hold on and use his weight to push Doe into his own corner.
And Kurt comes straight in again with no head movement. He's just a target for a straight left or right hand.
And Bill, Doe has him measured there. He's walked into several, has Curley.
Well, I think he's getting pretty fatigued at this point, and doing everything he can just to get a few punches in when he moves in, and then keep him from hitting him too hard.
I think Doe, it looks to me to be more tired of the two, but he has landed more punches and has more points.
Yeah, I would definitely give all 3 rounds to John Doe so far. Although very close rounds, all 3.
Both at 34 years of age, finally using the other side of the ring. And now Curley lands a hard right hand and a left hand, a nice combination toward the end. Gets the knee in there and has his opponent on the ropes. A good finish by Kurt Curley, but it may not be enough here in this first amateur bout, as John Doe will have to wait and hear the ring announcement. But a good finish.
John Doe really dropped his defenses there at the last few seconds. He was ready for the round to end.
Yeah, Kurt Curley definitely dominated the last 20-25 seconds of that fight. I think enough to maybe steal the 3rd round.
Yeah.
Bill, I don't know about you. I'd probably score it 2-1. John Doe with the victory. What about you? How would you score that?
I agree.
There's that stunning right jab that John Doe was able to throw, and even got in a couple of knees there, glancing blows, but toward the end, Curley was able to get in a flurry and work him over to his own ring.
You know, we talk about the fatigue, Eric. Unless you've actually been in the ring or trained to be in the ring, you have no idea what it takes out of your body to go 3 3-minute rounds, or for the pro level, 3 4-minute rounds. It completely fatigues your body. If you don't pace it, you hear boxers talk a lot about punching themselves out. If you don't save yourself, you want to go in flurries and then pause, get your wind back, and then throw another flurry. You can't just go all out. It'll kill you.
Time now for our decision with our ring announcer, Bob Alexander.
Ladies and gentlemen, before the decision, how about a nice round of applause for both fighters, please?
Very fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner on points comes out of the red corner, Kurt Curley.
Well, our first surprise of the night, maybe that finish at the end, but it's kind of surprising to me with a couple of the low blows, Rob.
Especially there should have been a point deduction in that 2nd round, which I still probably would have given that round to John Doe, which would be a 2-point swing. Would have been a 12-10 round. I would have given him 12-11 the first round, 12-10 the second, and then given Kurt 12-11 in the third. But I guess that's why I'm sitting over here instead of judging.